Hey, everyone. BB Slavman here. Internet's second busiest music nerd.
That's me.
Today we're reviewing the new VIBEKILLERS album.
I'm the second busiest music nerd.
Okay, I'm
Not you.
third busiest music nerd. We're reviewing the new VIBEKILLERS album, Year of the Shrimp, which, of course, is a play on nothing. It's not a play on anything. Came up with it. Covers original, everything's original. All new music. All right, so just looking at the track list here, we have 5 tracks, which are Year of the Shrimp, Shrimp City, I Eat Shrimp at Sunday Service, which has a feature from Bill Cosby, and an excellent feature from Lil Shrimpy.
Yes, underground rapper,
Lil Shrimpy, of course.
Yeah,
then
like he's sort of popular in the music nerd. He's not very accessible.
Not very accessible. Highly experimental.
Yes, highly. Yeah.
Then following that up, we have the classic track Shrimp Incident number 35, and then the closer, Bottomless Shrimp, which is my personal favorite on the record.
Yes. Let's before we get to that though, let's just talk about the artistic direction that this project is taking,
of course,
as opposed to the VIBEKILLERS' previous works. So what I see here is a much more focused project. Every song is about shrimp. There's an overarching theme.
It's a concept album.
It is a concept album.
It is the quintessential concept album.
And as they said in that intro. I also really appreciated the way production was going here. Every beat was a shrimp type beat, which I think other producers other than BB Slavman would have struggled to achieve. And I also thought that the vocals took a more experimental approach. Many of them not really being raps, many of them not rhyming in the same types of flows that the VIBEKILLERS have experimented with in the past, and also a surprising rage rap verse on what we consider to be our best or favorite song, Bottomless Shrimp.
Yes, Bottomless Shrimp is classic track, 4 parts, 4 sections, each unique,
each amazing,
each incredible. Nothing but favorable things to say about Bottomless Shrimp, of course. Starting at the very beginning of the album, we open with an Anthony Fantano sample where shrimp
eat shit and die.
Exactly, I agree. Shrimp is very, very extremely skillfully edited into this audio sample in a way that you would never notice unless you were really picking through the details of the sine waves.
You would think that VIBEKILLERS just found a leaked recording of Fantano talking about shrimp. It's a topic that he has conveniently avoided in the past.
Then immediately after this Anthony Fantano sample, we have a very sort of abrasive electronic segment, which goes for around a minute and a half.
Yes.
Which features some live drumming, some programmed drumming, very aggressive, but also very ethereal at times.
Yes.
Great track.
Angelic,
heavenly. Nothing but positive things to say about this track. Absolutely love it. One of my favorites on the album. Then we have a brief interlude with the producer of this album, ICEBM, who not much is known about. He's talking a little bit about how this is a concept album to end all concept albums, essentially.
Yes, he's not very humble, but I do think that is deserved when you have reached such heights as he has.
Exactly.
Being possibly at least like top 5 producers in music ever.
I would agree.
Michael Jackson being one.
Of course, great producer Michael Jackson. And Jimi Hendrix, of course. Then immediately after this,
he's 8.
We have the track Shrimp City, which is featuring, I believe, P. Ulay is his name? P. Ulay.
Yeah.
I think I'm saying that right. And
I think so too. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Of course. And it begins with a bit of a bass segment. Drum and bass, very, classic hip-hop, but then there's a very fast switch into a sort of, Sin City Mafia type vibe as he goes for minutes on end about seemingly nothing.
Yes,
but
he goes.
Once you listen to this track, over and over again, it all sort of falls into place.
I like the sort of empty flow that he uses here. He really employs a certain level of like um triteness and space in between each word. There's a lot of like room for you to reflect on every word that he's saying.
I completely
And
agree.
to the untrained ear, it can sound like just raving nonsense, which was one of my previous complaints about other Vibe Killers songs.
During my research for this review, I actually read an interview with Mr. Oulet, where he says that his flow is in that style in order to leave room for Jesus. All right. Next on the track list, we have a short interlude from one Wrist, who's not popped up too much before on the VIBEKILLERS discography, but it's a treat when they do.
Yes. Yes.
Wrist,
They've certainly. No one knows much about wrist, except that their wrist hurts and they think they might need surgery.
Exactly. And Wrist
I
delivers some
wonder if
bars
they'll
about
ever get
Sensei
surgery.
Drip being a raving madman and ripping out his hair while Pioulet watches on.
Yes.
Very hard-hitting stuff about the commitment that it takes to make great art. Immediately after this, we have another phenomenal track, I Ate Shrimp at Sunday Service, featuring Lil Shrimpy and Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby sample opens the song with a bang.
I have a lot to say about this one. This is my second favorite track on the album. I think the storytelling approach is not something that we've seen from Sensei Drip very much. P Outlet has done that in the past with Lamp Era and his other solo works, but this is not something Sensei Drip has really done much. And I think that he really went all out on this. He goes at length telling this story about the escalation from getting caught by his pastor to seeing the Pope to them making him see Jesus to Jesus killing him and sending him to hell, and then he eats shrimp in hell with Satan. I think that is a fantastic story that could only be thought of by a true artist, which Sensei Drip has proven himself time and time to be. I also really appreciate the sparsity of the rhymes in this one. It seems like he really only rhymes words when he feels like he has to, and he's not relying on just the sound of it to make it dope. It's more what he's saying.
Exactly. He's a lyrical genius, truly.
He is.
And after this track, we have a bit of an interlude featuring the one and only Ted Beppis, who is a bit of an industry, he's in the industry. He's in the industry. He's around. And Ted Beppis is talking about shrimp capitalism, which is, political statements about shrimp are not common. And
they're not.
I think that these are incredibly good politics being presented on this track.
This Ted Beppis feature is certifiably a based inclusion.
Exactly. Then we have the next track on here, which is it's almost an interlude track, but it doesn't have rapping. It's not very aggressive. It's just a very ethereal, but detailed portrait of one individual who has a lifelong obsession with shrimp.
Yes, that's all he does. 2012, he says. This project has been 9 years in the making.
Yeah, precisely. Then after this, we have an interlude from Pioulet himself, as he goes at length about the impact that Year of the Shrimp has had on him as an individual, and what he calls the shrimpy mood, which I find to be a very, important metaphor in times like these.
Now, I've been following P Outlet for a long time, ever since PP Snipper, and I can say that hearing him speak not in rap form was a really shocking thing for me. But I have to say, after listening to this many times, it's lit.
It is. The album closes with this very drawn-out, droning piece after the sort of more aggressive Pioulet bars that close out the track. And after that, it's just rumbling noises for a few moments and then silence for the last 10 seconds. It's really one of the greatest closers on an album I've seen yet this year. I have nothing but glowing things to say about Year of the Shrimp by VIBEKILLERS. I think it's a project nearing perfection, to be quite honest. And that's why I'm going to have to give it a light 1.
Well, I was actually going to give it.
It's a light 1. I'm not asking.
Okay. You are. Wait.